The neighborhood of Tottenville is located on the southernmost tip of Staten Island, giving residents incredible views of the Raritan Bay and the Arthur Kill. In the neighborhood of Tottenville, there are quite a few points of interest and landmarks. They are the South Shore Little League Fields, the Tottenville Marina, the Theodore F. and Elizabeth J. D. Hart House, the George Cunningham Store, the Tottenville Public Library, the PS1 Annex, the Rutan Journée House, and Conference House Park, which includes several historic landmarks and points of interest. The South Shore Little League has 7 different fields for use by children ages 5 through 12. Located at 540 Page Avenue, you can find the Perricone, Pelzar, and Tolino Fields. The Perricone and Tolino Fields are used as practice and game fields for the Junior Minor Division. The Pelzar Field is used for the T-Ball Division. Located at 6845 Highland Boulevard, you can find the Veterans, Panzella, DeYoung, and Halverson Fields. The Veterans Field is used for the Senior Minor Division pregame batting practice and morning practice, as well as games. Panzella Field is used for girls softball practice and games. DeYoung Field is used for the Major Division tournament games, while Halverson Field is used for the T-Ball Division. The Tottenville Marina is located at 201 Ellis Street. The marina has 180 boat slips and offers boat maintenance, wet and dry storage, and hauling for patrons. The marina also has shower and bathroom facilities. The Theodore F. and Elizabeth J. D. Hart House, located at 134 Main Street, was built around 1850. This simple cottage mixes the architectural styles of Greek Revival and Gothic Revival. Originally built by Henry Butler as an investment, the house had several owners in the past with close ties to the oyster industry. One such owner was Theodore F. D. Hart, who was a wealthy oyster planter. Theodore and Elizabeth D. Hart owned the house for the longest period of time, from 1874 to 1913. The Theodore F. and Elizabeth J. D. Hart House is the oldest building still standing on Main Street. In 2006, the house became a New York City landmark. The George Cunningham Store, located at 173 Main Street, is an informal commercial building in the Queen Anne style. From the time the store was built in 1892 until 1913, this was the site of George Cunningham's butcher shop. The George Cunningham Store is the second oldest building still standing on Main Street. The building became a New York City landmark in 2008. The Tottenville branch of the New York Public Library is located at 7430 Amboy Road. It was built with the aid of industrialist Andrew Carnegie in 1904, making it the first branch of the New York Public Library to be erected on Staten Island and one of the oldest of these branches in New York City. In 1995, the Tottenville branch of the New York Public Library became a New York City landmark. The PS1 Annex, located at 58 Summit Street, was built in 1878. This neo-Grec brick schoolhouse is the oldest public school still in use on Staten Island. Originally known as Westfield Township District School No. 5, PS1 Annex was designated as a New York City landmark in 1995. The Rutan Journée House, located at 7647 Amboy Road, was built around 1848. This clapboard cottage was built as a Greek Revival style house, but with vernacular style elements. The Rutan Journée House was the first house constructed on Amboy Road and is one of the earliest documented homes built in Tottenville. James Madison Rutan, the house's first owner, sold the house in 1850 to John S. Journée. In 2009, the Rutan Journée House became a New York City landmark. Conference House Park is located at the end of Highland Boulevard with its visitors center just below at 298 Satterley Street. The 286-acre park was opened to the public in 1937. Within Conference House Park, you can find several historic landmarks and points of interest. They are the Almer G. Russell Pavilion, Burial Ridge, Ward's Point Archaeological Site and Conservation Area, the Henry Hogg Biddle House, the Ward House, the Rutan Beckett House, the Conference House, the Visitor Center, Lenape Playground, hiking and bike trails, open fields, a canoe launch site, and the South Pole, the southernmost point in the state of New York. The Almer G. Pavilion is a Victorian-style pavilion which was dedicated to fallen World War I soldier Almer G. Russell. Overlooking the Raritan Bay is Burial Ridge, the largest pre-European American Indian burial ground on Staten Island. The archaeological site and conservation area of Ward's Point are two of the most profound and well-preserved Native American dig sites in the New York area. Evidence found shows contact between the Europeans and the Munsee Indians dating back to the late 16th and early 17th centuries. Ward's Point consists of archaeological components both prehistoric and historic. In 1982, Ward's Point Conservation Area was added to the National Register of Historic Places. 11 years later, Ward's Point Archaeological Site was designated as a National Historic Landmark. The Henry Hogg Biddle House, located at 70 Satterley Street, was built in the late 1840s. The Greek Revival-style house was constructed by Captain Henry Hogg Biddle, a sea captain who owned the ferry that ran from Tottenville to Perth Amboy, New Jersey. The Henry Hogg Biddle House became a New York City landmark in 1990. The Ward House was constructed sometime around 1830. It is the only house of the prominent Ward family still standing on Ward's Point. The Rutan Beckett House was built around 1850. This was once the home of New York State Assemblyman and shipbuilder William H. Rutan. The Rutan family owned the house until 1910. Roughly 1 century after it was built, the Beckett family bought the long-neglected house and modernized it. The Conference House, located at 7455 Highland Boulevard, was erected around 1680 by Captain Christopher Billop. Originally a wheat farm, the Conference House gained its name and historical notoriety in 1776 when a peace conference took place to end the American Revolutionary War. After being acquired by New York City in 1926, work was underway to repair the damaged historical site. After years of repairs, the Conference House was dedicated as the first house museum on Staten Island and opened to the public for viewing in 1937. The house was designated as a National Historic Landmark in 1966, and just a short year later, it became a New York City landmark. As well as having many points of interest and landmarks, Tottenville is home to several parks. They are Tottenville Shore Park, Tottenville Wetlands Paw Paw Hybrid Oak Woods Park, and Tottenville Pool. Tottenville Shore Park consists of 3 sections of the shoreline. The main section of the park runs from Hopping Avenue to the Raritan Bay between Patton Street and Arthur Kill Road. Bordered by the Raritan Bay and separated by Bentley Avenue, you can find the other 2 sections of the park. In 1997, the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation combined these 3 portions to form Tottenville Shore Park. The park is mostly wooded with some grass areas and the beach. The park has been left untouched since its acquisition and has natural habitats for both animal and plant life. The Tottenville Wetland Paw Paw Hybrid Oak Woods Park is a mostly forested area which houses several unique species of trees and plant life. Included are willow oaks, blackjack oaks, hybrid oaks, which cannot be found anywhere else in New York State, the state-listed endangered bleeding hearts, and pawpaws, which have been studied since 1888. The park is significant to the area due to its wetlands and waterways that bring much-needed fresh water out to the Raritan Bay and are used by ducks, swans, and herons. Tottenville Pool is located on Highland Boulevard between Jolene Avenue and Sprague Avenue. Construction of the pool began by the end of the 1960s. This public park consists of an intermediate pool and a wading pool, as well as a playground and picnic tables. The neighborhood of Tottenville has a fairly decent-sized commercial area with 2 large shopping plazas and many stores spread out along Amboy Road. Residents have a variety of stores to choose from, all within a short distance of one another. Located on Page Avenue, you can find Tottenville Square and Tottenville Commons. Heading down Amboy Road, further into the neighborhood of Tottenville, there are many stores spread out along both sides of the busy street. Housing in the neighborhood hasn't changed much over the years. The neighborhood consists of many long-standing homes, many of which were built in the Georgian, Greek Revival, Victorian, and Second Empire styles of architecture. Newer homes in the neighborhood include Center Hall and Side Hall colonials. The streets between Amboy Road and Bentley Street are zoned for large, single-family detached homes. Along such streets as Hopping Avenue, Patton Street, and Craig Avenue, you can see examples of these housing styles. Along Billop Avenue, you can find small single- and two-family detached homes. On streets such as Massachusetts Street and Connecticut Street, you can find bigger single- and two-family detached homes. Within the neighborhood, there are 3 housing communities: Butler Manor Estates, Butler Manor Estates 2, and Surfside Village. The Butler Manor Estates can be found on Callahan Lane, Irene Lane, and Jane Lane off of Lear Lane. The Butler Manor Estates 2 is located on the eastern portion of Claremont Avenue, as well as on Bellwood Loop and Dintree Lane. Surfside Village is a waterfront community that overlooks the Raritan Bay. The community can be found on Seabreeze Lane, Winding Woods Loop, and Surfside Plaza between Sprague Avenue and Loretto Street. Tottenville is home to 3 schools. The 2 public schools are PS1, mentioned earlier and located at 58 Summit Street, and IS34, located at 528 Academy Avenue. The only private school in the neighborhood is Our Lady Help of Christians School, which is located at 23 Summit Street and teaches children from pre-K to 8th grade. In the neighborhood of Tottenville, residents have access to bus stops for the local S78 and S59 buses, as well as the X22 Express bus. All of these buses mainly run along Highland Boulevard. The S78 passes through Tottenville on its way from either the St. George Ferry Terminal or the Bricktown Mall in Charleston. The S59 runs on a limited schedule when traveling through Tottenville to or from Port Richmond. The X22 Express bus can take residents into Midtown Manhattan. Tottenville is very unique because the train stops 3 times in the neighborhood. The train makes its first stop in Tottenville at the Nassau Station, located on Nassau Place or the corner of St. Andrew's Place and Hart Place. It makes its second stop in Tottenville at the Atlantic Station, located on Ellis Street or at the end of Tracy Avenue. The third stop that the train makes in Tottenville is the Tottenville Station, located at Bentley Street or at the corner of Main Street and Utah Street. For more information on the neighborhoods of Staten Island, you can visit our website at realestatesiny.com.